Once it's cracked, it's cracked. For the viewer that left the windows, I finally remembered to grab the windows. Yes, they have been here this long. So I already carried one in. I thought, I better let you know that I finally got them. Depending on what you do with the window, this won't paint very well. So we're just going to take it off. This is the part that nobody really wants to do, is that when you have salvaged, it always is going to need clean. You are very lucky if it does not. So that's what I start off with first, is a good cleaning. Clean as much as I can. Got some caulk. We'll just cut that off now. Usually it comes off really easy. When you're doing a window, you can use either side. All depends on what you're backing it, what you're putting it. So this is the side on this one. So I taped off. I'm going to go ahead and shellac. This wood is really dry, and I'm hoping to get like a little, like some chippiness going on. So it'll seal this paint in, and then it will give this a drink to be able to get some chippiness. I want the chippiness. I want to control the chippiness though. It's like all the prep you have to do before even getting to make what's behind the window pretty. But that way, if I tape off, I don't have to try to be so neat. Remember, you are working with glass, and if it has a hairline crack anywhere while you're cleaning it, which mine did, look at, I have, yeah, this one. So I'm going to just try to remove it and use just, I guess I'll just use a frame of not the funnest. And of course, it's kind of stuck in there with glazing points. I'm gonna do, I know. I've already halfway cleaned it, so I can't save broken glass. Once it's cracked, it's cracked. Well, at least on that note, I don't have to tape anything off before I shellac it and paint it. I think I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do determining what side you want to do. So took the air compressor, made sure that the glass was all out. And then we'll just come up with an idea for an empty frame. This one, shellac will be your friend because it will bleed through white paint, even milk paint, when it's this raw wood that's been out in the weather. So, priming with shellac because we're going to do the front. There's something about salvage windows being white. So we're going to be doing Sweet Pickins flour sack to get that authentic, inspired, clean, chippy frame look. Might have to mix up multiple batches. I don't know. I have 3 windows. So Sweet Pickins, as you see, is a powder that you mix with water. And I definitely wanted to make it thicker because I want to be able to put it on heavy, let it dry overnight. Yep, this is a 2-day process. So it has time to dry before I start working on it. It's all about the frame today. And then day 2 will be about what we're doing behind the frame. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of the beeswax just so I can get some chippiness. No, I'm going to go all the way when I'm painting onto the caulk, so it's all one color. That's why I taped off too, not only so I can be messy, but that I could paint the caulk that's on there. Try to clean it up as best as I can. So now, since the glasses, I have to go all the way into the inside, not just the outside. I have a plan. I think I've formulated a plan. I'm not going to try to put wax there. Use my Sweet Pickins beeswax. It's too hard to get into that inside side with some wax. So this just on the outside, because I have the sides to do too. The little bend. I went over with another coat of Extra Bond. I said shellac Extra Bond because I could just tell that this wood wants to make my white paint yellow, and I don't think that's such a pretty look. So, but let's just be safe. So, one clear coat after another. I'm just going to put a little bit of wax just on the front frame because it's kind of hard to get into the, like I could do that, but you don't get so much on that it doesn't cover it up. Going in with the flour sack. Nice thick coat. Yeah, a little bit of challenge is covering up the raw wood part. I left the hardware on because I think that's a nice little feature. This has got some crackle. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and sand it after everything's unstuck off my boards. The crackle's nice, but it is nice to sand it and get a little bit more age to it so it doesn't just look like you painted crackle on it. And so whatever chips off is what chips off between the shellac and the Extra Bond. I think we got it sealed in that it didn't yellow. So to seal my milk paint in, I'm just going to go in with some Fusion's hemp oil in the natural. I think that'll just bring out the patina of the wood underneath. It'll seal the milk paint in. The wood underneath is dark enough that we're seeing those lovely crackles, that's for sure. I think it's the Extra Bond that did those great big crackles on here. I did end up having to do 2 coats of paint. I do notice that sometimes with Extra Bond I can't get along with just one, especially white, but it's all good. But yeah, see how it just brings the wood back to life. It's just time to clean the glass now. I still have one more wiping to do. You have to, when you put the hemp oil on, you have to wait about 10 minutes and then wipe off the excess. Perfect time to take my tape off, clean my paint off my window. There's like some kind of coating on it that I could, was making it chalky looking. So you just kind of wait till you're cleaning at the end. Just see if you can scrape it off. Do you see an American flag? Yes, that is exactly what you see. So I have done this in the past, and this is a great way if you want to display your family's flag, your grandfather's flag, and want to get it on the wall. This is a great way, is to tack it into, like you don't tack this, into a window. So I'm just trying to get it all, make sure there's nothing like little specks. Because once I get it in here, you can't get back in there. It's going to be preserved in there. Let's take some tape and get all those little things off of there. I'm going to make sure your window's nice and clean. There might be some stains. That's character, and you leave them. Okay, so now I just have to decide. So like when I hang it, it'll be hanging up like that. So you won't be able to see the whole thing, so we're going to have to fold it over, but I'm going to have to get a piece of foam board to put in here. I have this piece of Dollar Tree foam board that I cut down to hopefully fit in that little insert area, which it does. So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to fold over our flag. Okay, now you don't necessarily want to pull tight on it because then you'll start pulling it away from the little bit of the lip. So my sweet husband cut me a piece of board. See, that way if we have something to attach it to, we don't have to injure the flag in any way. We're just going to brad nail this onto the back, and then that should be tight enough to hold the flag. We're not quite done yet, y'all. So I'm going to sand those edges, make sure that it's, he got it really flush, but then we have to do a little something so it doesn't look like we just applied wood to the back, which we did. So now I'm just going to use some of the Fusion's aging wax, which will get down on the corner. It's not going to really do anything to the paint because we sealed that in with hemp oil. But I don't want it to look like I just put a new piece of wood on the back of this. Unfortunately, you can't just do the sides. You're gonna have to do the whole back, but I think it's well worth it out of respect. So if you have an old window, you have a family's flag, or you have a flag that you like, you love, and you want to display it, and you're wondering how to do it, this is a great idea. It looks like an older piece of wood. Or a stained piece of wood, one or the other. So you got to put a hanger on it. So I usually just use this little ruler or something just to measure down that I'm doing, the same on both sides. 3 inches should be just fine. You can get these little picture hanging off of Amazon. This is 17 gauge wire, which seems to be strong enough to hold these heavy you got glass and you got wood, and then whatever you put in the inside of it. Wrap it and wrap it around. Happy about breaking the glass out? No, but it is what it is, and you can't go back. So Now this just has shellac on it. There's some beautiful crackling between the shellac, stopping the paint from soaking into just the frame. It also helps, I think it works together with the Sweet Pickins milk paint. Just does a beautiful job. So we're going to go ahead and give it sand for a little bit more age before I finish it off. I'm going to take some hemp oil and seal this in. Look at the chippy goodness. It just looks like it. That's really how it weathered in the wood, in the outside, in the wild, I think is what I was going to say. So with the hemp oil, there's a dark one. I'm not looking to dirty up my white paint or anything. And I think the wood underneath with the hemp oil will pop the wood so you really see it. Wasn't my initial plan, but this is how it's going to roll. So I'm going to actually put pallet wood, and then we will put a wreath. So I got to watch where my pieces are, because there's, you know, pieces that are split and stuff. And then pallet wood. Pallet wood is what it is. It was, I don't think they didn't necessarily make it to be decor. And here us crafters are trying to make it into decor. So the main thing is trying to find close to the same thickness. Variegating the boards, picking out which side you think is the yummiest. You might, I mean, sometimes they are warped. Like I think this one is warped. Yeah, it's not straight. So that's the hard thing, is you gotta pick through. Okay, which side do I like? There. I know you think, oh, just line them up to the edge, but I got other places I need to cut. So I have to cut each and every one of them down to fit. You just want to try to find your straight edge, meaning this side, and then which side you want to have forward. Get some brad nails and get it brad nailed in. Okay, now I want to round off my edges here, so I'm going to take some 60 grit and try to make it so you're not seeing so much and that they're a little bit more even. If by chance I can find the video that I made, this is actually a coffee filter wreath. And when this broke yesterday, I was like, oh, ta-da! I know where I can use this because I made it for myself for Christmas, but then I took that decor down already and changed that spot out. Just so easy, right? No, not necessarily. Okay. Now I gotta find a little, there's a wire in here. And this is centered right on top here. So if I can make a little scratchy, which I think I did right there. I have this little lightweight hook. That goes in actually at an angle. It's got that nice little hook to grab because it's just done on a wreath form. Beautiful crackling and crazing on this one with milk paint. We're going to sand it to get distressed a little bit more. Okay, we're going to seal the milk paint in with some hemp oil. That's going to pop that wood that came peeking through. This so it was almost like a little shadow box by reversing it, keeping the center point. This will be in there. That's perfectly fine. And then my husband cut me a back for this, but I needed to make a little bit of a lip to go right there. So, because if I went over there, it doesn't touch. But if you cut it a little bit shorter, you can get it to almost lay flat. So I need to have an idea of who's who and where's where and how much this is going to be shown from the inside. It's a piece of wood right now. And what I'm going to put in there are these pretty flowers from Hobby Lobby. This time of year, the spring has dried flowers, and then they're 40% off if you're lucky enough to get some. They seem to go fairly fast. I've ordered off of the internet, but they always come smashed. I don't know why, like from Amazon. So I decided I'm just going to try to make it to a Hobby Lobby and pick some up, and we'll see. Because I'm trying to decide, like, what do I want to put on the back? Am I overthinking adding too many elements in? Probably. So I just envision, like, like how like the bottom of a barn would have brick on it. This might be more house brick, but it's going to be covered up a lot by flowers. And then you'd have the barn wood. So this is paper from Zazzle. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some of this at the bottom, put that on the top. But to get my paper to pop, I'm going to have to do a coat of white. I'm going to use some of the DIY's White Swan because I'm going to be covering it up, and I want to be able to dry it. But that's why I just have that, like, that area I know. I mean, I'll go out a little further, but I want to make sure. That's why the pencil lines kind of came in handy there. Give me an idea of where to put everything. But to get your paper to pop, you want to back it with white if you can. Or I could have used foam board, but I like being able to attach this to the back. If I'd used foam board, then I would have had to still attach because I don't think it'd be strong enough. It ruined something else. Just trying to hang it on and off the wall and poking the screw head or the nail through it. I have white. The white is dry. I'm trying to decide if I should seal it in or if it's going to come through the paper, but I don't think I care if it comes through the paper a little bit. If it happens, it happens. So I'm just taking some Fusion's Decoupage Transfer Gel. I'm just guesstimating on where I think my bottom paper should go. And then putting some on. Wetting the paper just helps lay it down a little bit more. Once you wet it down, you got to be careful though, because it does like to rip. And order different thicknesses of paper, and I usually go ahead and get the thickest one that I can. It doesn't take a lot of this because you're wetting the paper down and you're smushing it into that. So just get some on. And for some reason, this just glides better than your hand. Some people use a rolled up piece of tissue paper or a saran wrap. I find it just easier to stick my hand in a Ziploc because I got those handy and I can still reuse it. Use a heat gun to try to help me along to dry this so I can tear the bottom off. We are going to add, I think I like the contrast of the dark and the light. It might not be everybody's vibe. The heat gun did work. So I'm going to go ahead and with weather defense and seal the paper in. You can clear coat it again with the transfer gel if you want, or I just think it's easier just for me to spray it. Okay, hopefully this works. I'm going to take my Orbital sander to see if I can cut this paper off and kind of make it ragged. I didn't want you just to see that straight line, right? So I'm going to go ahead and seal it in one more time because I'm going to actually put a stencil on it. But I didn't want it just, I want it to look like a salvaged area. I actually already love this. So I have this, and this is by Funky Junk Stencils. And then after the trade thing, she's out of Canada. So you guys can't get it anymore, is my understanding. When she messaged me, there's just no kind of eyeballing center here. And I can't tape it down because I might pull my paper up. So just a lot, not very much on here. Probably have way too much on my plate, but I'm using that same white swan because it is forgiving. It's you can, like, if you got a boo-boo, you can wash it off, remove it. But if you use a painter's like marker, you're kind of stuck. It's more permanent. I looked at my flower market sign and I didn't. No, this is my gig. If you don't follow the other channel and know that or follow my thrifting adventures to know that we are antique dealers too. I wouldn't call us experts. We're newbies at it in our 5-year journey of selling antiques. But every once in a while I get that question. I'm like, oh, do you not watch the other channel? I do put 13 videos on. But you never know what people have time for. I just appreciate y'all who's are watching right now. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And once a month, I try to put out a little bit of bonus footage or an extra video for anybody who wants to be a channel member. That is not free. That it has a cost. I think there's tiers of it. And then I try to link your names at the end of the video. I'm not very good at promoting stuff. I just like to craft and buy stuff. Okay, I put 2 coats on. So let's dry it a little bit so I don't smear anything. Unfortunately, it's sticking a little bit. So I'm just taking the heat gun, pulling up very gingerly. We'll get to see the part that is stuck. Oh. I think it was still a little wet on this side. Yep, right here. Right there is where it was sticking, but that's okay because I go for a distressed look anyway. It's perfect. It's perfect. It is perfect. I'm not going to stress myself over it. That takes the fun out of all the crafting. Then I'm just going to take some of the weather defense over. You have to seal your DIY paint in. I love it. Like, do I even put flowers behind it now? I planned to put flowers on it, but I think it turned out so awesome. Not that that's how they're going to go on, but I do think that's pretty. So I'm just picking these ones out. Yeah, and we're just going to work from there. It's simple. And then we'll just kind of trim off that excess that we don't need. Then I'm going to take some hot glue and always pray for the best here. Because the more you smash them, the more they break. That's the only bad thing about using dried flowers. You kind of have to find like which side is the flat side. Like where can I flatten it out? Where can I talk nice to it? Like that one already popped up. I'm glad that I distressed the two pieces together. I kind of was toying with like doing some antiquing wax or something, and I'm like, you know what? Stop. Just stop. So, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. You can overdo it sometimes. So if after I get these on, because if I wax it, my glue's not going to stick as well. That was my kind of my thought process there. So find my strong point. And then, yeah, so there's this point. I don't know if you like see how that, if I wouldn't have blacked it in white paint, that's how it would have looked. It wouldn't have popped so much. But that's what we want it to. I'm going to be here a while. I have a whole bunch on. And I just staggered them. I just ended up using just the same one. I'm going to do a little bit of Spanish moss. I'm going to really shake it out, though, along the bottom here. I just keep turning my glue gun on and off, on and off, on and off. That just kind of helps blend everything. I don't want to make it airy. Okay, one thing I need to do. That's the only hard thing about dried. Well, there's other issues, but anyhow. Did I do measurements right? I think so. And take a little bit of the DIY paint and that little lip right here, just in case you see it from the front. Okay, I'm going to finish my back off by using some aging wax by Fusion. I don't know, just makes me feel better. No, it's not a step you have to do, but like I said, it just makes me feel better. Just ties everything all in together. Some would say it's probably a wasted step. I said not. Hangers you can get from Amazon.